right now.
Hello, we're on.
Hello.
Woo!
Welcome again to this is the number 4 VATcast. So welcome everyone. We have Wafer to join us.
Yay!
Say hi, Wafer. Oh, okay.
Hi.
We're not quite there yet with that energy. Tone it down a little bit. We got to work ourselves up.
Okay. Hello.
Half slash just woke up.
Hey, look, I'm good. I woke up a couple hours ago, but it is still the morning. So
goodness. That's very true. 3 hours behind the rest of us. Half slash, I gotta say, the future's not looking great.
What?
With us living in the future, the future's not looking great for you.
I mean, in the future, we're still down a VOD, I think. So, frankly,
So
I don't even know where
true.
the past is. I'm in purgatory right now. Like, as far as I can tell.
Nafi was too ashamed to be seen with you.
Oh.
Didn't want to upload it to put it on the internet forever.
Okay, I'll fix it.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We've all been busy this month. We've all
Yeah.
been busy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically, on today's episode, we're gonna talk, about Wafer, our special guest here, yeah, that's basically it. We have a couple other smaller talking points that we're gonna talk about, such as the Attendant drama. But yeah. Quick news updates for this month. Today is actually the final day for mentee signups for the Community Mentorship Program. So if any of you out there watching want to get a mentor, modding, mapping, whatever game mode, then you should probably move quickly before they close. So yeah, I think basically every single one of us here, not basically, every single one of us here has quite a bit of experience with the mentorship program. All of us have been mentors there, and I think I don't know if Wafer's been a mentee there, but I think all the rest of us have been mentors there.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I was a mentee of Now Tamori.
What?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember
What?
that. Yeah, I do remember that.
See, so we like to make jokes that like Usaha is the Genghis Khan of mentorship, but now Tamori was the OG, right? Like he spawned off so many mentees. They've all run wild. Some of them like I don't know.
Usaha is the Genghis Khan of mapping, but now Tamori is like the person for modding. Like everyone who was a now Tamori mentee basically became a BN.
For better or for worse.
So Usaha, Genghis Khan, Natomori, Alexander the Great. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
That is quite the canon, the head canon right there. What does that
we
make
still
Wafer?
got a few more we could name in history. So the next conqueror is to be determined. So.
Gotcha. I mean, one might argue that Wafer was a pretty big conqueror of different things.
Daria, he definitely owns the domain of Daria Core. Like I didn't know what this shit was
so
until
true.
he started ranking
so
it.
True. Yeah, that is very true.
I'm like Christopher Columbus.
Damn it! That was the third conqueror. I was like, all right.
Wow. God dang.
That's a Florida brain speaking right there. Like fucking St. Augustine's not too far from you, man. Like fucking influence rubbing off. Holy
we love our colonizers. No, we don't. No, pause.
Brother.
It would be the
It's not
saying
Thanksgiving
that.
yet. You can't say that yet.
Holy shit, dude.
True.
Half slash. Do you know what the current cycle is in mentorship?
Oh, I look. I'm reading the doc, so that's not a fair question.
Oh,
but
fuck.
I still can't believe it
You know
because
what? Yeah.
look. So you guys are claiming that it's the 27th cycle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck? Like, look. I've heard, like, just for some context, if anyone watched the last stream, I mentioned, like, I was a mentee in this the same mentorship program in cycle 2. That was in 2016. That was like the end of 2016 when that was. So
We're coming
this
up on
program,
nearly a decade. It's crazy.
yeah, this program has already celebrated its 8th birthday, and it is still going. And 27 cycles of the result, which is just baffling to me. Like, I don't know what else in
Okaratu has been around for every single cycle.
Yeah. Okaratu has been around long enough to name change like 4 times too. And
Okoratu,
you know,
Okorin, and Oko Ayu.
Oko Ayu, yeah, that's the
The Oko
latest
Ayu one
iteration.
is, yeah. I was honestly very shocked to like not see Okaratu anymore.
Yeah, and it's just like the basically like it has been the Oko show the whole time, and then there have been some side character appearances like myself
And
in
White.
cycles like what 3 to 11, like Yaspo, Uberzolik, White, like I'm pretty sure I can't remember who else shared lead org, but one of them did. It's like or 2 of them did, something like that.
I will say that I was never the lead org or anything like that, but there was I want to say like cycle 20 to maybe like 19 to 23 or 22. I was pretty much the only person doing things. Felt
Yeah.
like so. Not to say that other people did not do things, because absolutely, it's been a team effort from day one since I've been there, at least.
It's the whole team around him. All these changes.
So
Yeah.
it's been I would say it's been a team effort, but for various points, about half the team has been inactive. So
Well, generally what happens and why we had the lead org stuff in the first place is you need somebody to drive it. So Oko's the bedrock. Oko drives things like consistently over time, but he's not like the most high activity sort of person. But you
Yeah.
need higher activity in bursts to handle like those cycle transitions and such.
Exactly.
So
and
for
typically that's Yaspo and Uberzolik.
Yes. So like that was me. That was what my role was, kind of like cycles like 3 to 4 to 11 or so. And then it transitioned to Yaspo and Uberzolik, and they kind of went off and on during that time. But I guess like you had to step up when both of them were dead. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. I'm pretty dead nowadays. That's just how it is. But Oko's actually been stepping up and doing a lot more in the recent cycles, which is a bit of a change from when I was there. Because when I was there, like when I first got on as an org, like Okaratu was very inactive.
Yeah. We also got a
but
question
now
about
he's
like
much more
Electos
active.
too.
Oh, Electos does he's on and off. But he does a lot more of the checkups and those things. He doesn't in like mentee evaluations, mentor evaluations sometimes. But it's more of he's more of like the checkups and just the mentee evaluations, which is like the administrative stuff that we just need to get done. But we sometimes have need people to actually do it. But he's never really been somebody to go start the entire cycle. But he's an important part of it for sure. Good question though.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that everyone is important in their own way.
In general, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like even though there were again lead orgs just drove the other orgs to wake up essentially, right? So there's always like running
exactly.
mentorship never been like a 1, 2, or even 3-man show. It's just always been that you just have people that drive everyone else.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
exactly. Yeah, there's always you always need that one person to like just really just yell at people to like get things going. Because after like 3 months of just sitting there doing nothing while the cycle runs itself, it's sometimes difficult to get back into having to consistently put energy and time into the evaluations and sending out mentor evals and those things.
Which is just crazy to think about how like now we're talking about mentorship running itself, like because I remember when that was definitely not the case. Like it's just like it took a while to actually optimize everything so that you could do that. And I think it's like it just started to get there when when I was like stepping down pretty much. So
Yeah, my biggest sort of, I would say my biggest contribution to mentorship was really pushing for optimization of a lot of the just like the spreadsheets. Like now we have a website that really reduces the dependence on Google Sheets that are very prone to breaking and very complicated. So that's my big contribution.
oh my god,
Yay.
the
The
website, dude. We've been
sheets.
dreaming about that website since like cycle 4 or 5, and it actually happened. So
I
fucking
will say
shout
I got
out to
a
Pishy.
I
Holy
got
shit.
yeah, Fishy really popped off with that one. I will say I got a lot of quite a bit of flack for going to Fishy and asking for assistance. And then it worked. And I was like,
Yeah.
everyone was like, nice.
I mean, yeah, it's just like it was clearly not working internally. Like I still remember when Oko
Exactly.
set up that larval project, and he was kind of working on it on the side, and no one else was really working on it because that's just how development in OSU tends to go.
Yeah.
And then it's like, Pishy's just like, I am here to help OSU, and then so he helped OSU because
He did it
honestly,
so fast too.
yeah, it's like because mentorship is at this point, community mentorship program, it is independent from like OSU at large, right? It's not an official like OSU staff run project, but it's kind of one of it's I'd say it's the most important community project that OSU has, in my opinion.
At least for
Like-
mapping, because like there's so many important projects for like tournament scenes too, and like
Yes,
Player
but
stuff.
I mean,
But like,
the
yeah,
longevity, I'd say, because like tournament orgs, their lifetime is just lower. Like even
And-
if like in the context
and
of
they're
stuff
replaceable
like Core Space,
as
so,
well, right? Like
yes.
tournament orgs are just replaceable in general. Like if Core Space goes, somebody else is going to come particular place, right? But I don't think anyone really will come along to replace mentorship. Like Avalon kind of tried, Thurston kind of tried, and it didn't really go well. So, and I think a lot of it is just we have so much longevity, and we also have, enough reputable people running it that, the only people who would necessarily have the energy and the motivation would be like newer mappers that don't have the authority, I guess, or like the reputation to back it up. But who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, 27th cycle. It's still going strong. So if you guys want in, go sign up. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I threw the forum link over in the chat earlier as well. Let me pin it. Look at that.
Ooh, fancy.
Wow, that's crazy. So moving on, we have in our VAT server, our community server, we do have an event happening on next Saturday, the 2nd. It's a mapping zone, as Nafi has coined it, and basically everyone drops in a voice call and just maps, and it's a good way to peer pressure each other into actually mapping. Let's be real, we all have a hard time with that. So if you're interested in mapping in a community setting, hey, go ahead and do that. And maybe even you could do the what's it called? The mapping CAD thing where you can like collaborative map.
That
That's
sounds
pretty
so
cool.
cool.
Is that
Yeah.
functional? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's
was in
actually
beta.
pretty functional these days. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It's more
Yeah.
functional than the laser etcher, I think. Anyway,
that I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally correct. This isn't even like this is a pretty cold take. Like,
yeah, it's a very
Really
cold
good.
take. But yeah, we run that semi-regularly.
Yeah, it's
Along
been like
with-
what, every month?
Yeah, or so. And then other random
Yeah.
events whenever they strike my fancy.
Yeah, I do occasionally see people just hop on the voice chat calls to do things, and those kinds of stuff. So we get occasional activity there. Obviously, love to see more. So if you want to join and you're not already there, go ahead and do that. Alrighty. We did also, in general news, have the 2024 fan art contest complete for the fall. I guess they called it September? So September fan art contest, but that's pretty cool.
I started to see like South Park like backgrounds cycle through. Like, was that one of the winners? Like,
yes, there is. There is indeed one South Park image.
Let me switch my
That's really
screen.
good, actually.
Oh my god, where is it? Okay,
I think there was a tweet about it that escaped the Osu Twitter circle.
It did?
Because I recall seeing it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm
But
sure
yeah.
Nafi can pull it up on the stream here.
I got this.
Oh, I will say that. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I love it.
Here's the actual link to the fan art results. If you can scroll down to see that as well. But it's it's definitely pretty cool. Honestly, some of the artists here are like really good.
Yeah, like
which is crazy for
Kaito thighs.
It's Osu. It's Osu after all, right?
Yeah. But this one is so pretty.
Oh, I love that.
That's the number one. That was the winner.
Yeah. They got the little Pippi plushie in the basket. They got the book about all the game modes. They have so much details in the background and in all the Lacey outfit. It's just so cute. And let me show the second one. This one was pretty good for like a fall vibe. Like you're just out taking photos, a nice painterly kind of approach.
I love that. It looks like a Devious Panda background.
Well, I guess he should get back into mapping and go ahead and ask them to use it then, eh?
Oh, man.
And then we got ourselves one of the community mascots here. I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but this art is stunning.
Oh, wow.
Alisa, I guess?
Mm-hmm. It's really funny how the community mascots for Taiko have such a chokehold on the fan art contest that they very consistently always show up. So Taiko effectively has like 5 mascots. Mocha's just the
I didn't even
ringleader.
know that Taiko had this mascot.
Yeah, it's back when they chose the winner for the Taiko contest, it wasn't the one that was the most highly voted. It was the one that the like the OS team felt like would really fit the theme of Taiko and fit what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a little bit controversial at the time, for as beloved as Mocha is now, because, hey, we had this whole community vote and you didn't pick the one we voted for. So what ended up happening was, it's like, okay, we can just let people draw the community mascots. And so they do. So a bunch of the other popular entries to the Taiko mascot contest are still drawn to this day.
Great. Was that a while ago? I'm actually not familiar with this.
Yeah. Oh my god, how long ago was that? Let me see. Let me see. It was the 6th fan art contest ever.
Oh god.
So that was, I think that was one of the last contests we had before switching over to the new website, actually.
Wow. It's been a good while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from 2016. So these fan mascots have a lot of enduring popularity, too.
Okay, cool. It's way before my time.
Oops. I dated myself.
That's true, you have. Oh god. But yeah, anyway.
On this 6th entry here, you can see like they got Pippi and Mocha as the main two, and then Mari and Mani hiding in the background, and Taikonator. Taikonator was also an entry to that contest, by the way. Fan favorite, just because he's so fucking weird. And then you have the fan Taiko mascots hiding out in the background.
Very cool.
Or like again here.
You gotta love all the like the little Easter eggs that the community puts in these.
Yeah, it's always so cool. This one is a
But
really
it's
nice
not even
painting.
Easter.
OMG.
Sorry. Sorry.
God dang it, wafer.
And I really appreciate that they let people put their handles on the art now too. It makes them easier to find. Because some of the artists, they just enter the contest and they don't do much else on Osu. And so like you go to their profile to try to find their Twitter and there's like nothing. There's nothing. They never added it. And I'm like,
How can I rep them?
exactly.
Yeah, that is true. There's always something good that comes out of these contests, which is nice.
I always like seeing them.
Yeah.
But the problem now is there's been too many contests, and sometimes I think of a specific fan art, and I can't remember which contest it was from. This one is so cool with like the puddle and like the mirror perspective and everything. So you have multiple really cool arts going on at once.
Oh, eating.
Right? This would make a solid map background too.
They're holding up the Osu logo.
That is so cool.
When too much art is actually a drawback, that's crazy. What? Like, can't be saying this.
I need a better way to find what I want.
Oh, that's actually just Osu mapping, by the way, in general. Like that's a microcosm of Osu mapping.
Well, thankfully, because of OMDB, map tags should be coming at some point to the website, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Wait, so to the actual website?
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Is that like confidential knowledge?
No. I've heard people talking about this. I heard this got mentioned like a few months back, and I'm just like, I still don't believe it. This is one of those things I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So
that's literally why we added Apollo today, so he could develop stuff like that and just have all the tools he needs.
When are we having another public NAT meeting?
Whenever we have something to meet about.
Yeah. You can always have something to talk about.
For OLC, map tags, you've used OMDB, but they're descriptors, right? Like rate your music. I don't think there's a clear set of tags that are going to be ported over to the actual website, but they should help players find and see it's like rate your music. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
That was the basis. That was the whole point of OMDB. So. Yeah.
Like, I remember going on the forums earlier, and somebody had posted, they're like, how do I find distance snap maps for hard and insane? I kind of want examples. I kind of want to try and do this. And I was just sitting there like, I have no good way to find these. That guy's out of luck.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody else
I have a good
knows.
way. Just go back to 2019. Or sorry, like 2009 or so. Like 2009.
Okay, you don't have to go back that far. Like,
Snap?
you just have to go to like 2012 or 2013, man. You don't need to go to fucking 2009.
2009 is when you had grid snap, and if it was grid snap, you could do whatever crap you wanted.
Yeah, that's fair.
No. But no. You still had to obey DS, but the loophole was if you NC'd it, you could do whatever you want. That's.
Honestly, that style was kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Besides all the other drawbacks.
Look. I mean, you could do whatever you want, which means you could also put 1/2 reverses literally anywhere. Have any amount of reverses at any time that you wanted. And yeah, that's great.
And you could just put like every loud, important sound on a tail, all you want, or on the repeats.
Spin around.
Who needs active feedback, actually?
It's just like modern mapping. Oh my gosh.
It used to drive me crazy because I would play a map and then it would have like this super epic drum roll and then it would be like, and this is still the case today, it would just be a buzz slider and I'd be like, I hate these. These are, all I do is click and hold. That's boring.
But what about the guitar solo that's just a break?
Honestly, yeah, but at the same time, having no breaks kind of sucks. It's like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the happy middle ground where like almost every other rhythm game is going to cut everything to 2 minutes, and in OS you're regularly going to have songs that are 3 or 4 or 5 minutes long. Please let people breathe.
Yeah, but why during the guitar solo? That's my point. I'm just like, it's like if we're gonna put breaks are good, but put them in where they make sense. Thanks.
See, like I've talked to Undead Capulet about that, and they're a big proponent of, putting the brakes on the guitar solo, like they did
All right.
in the
Well,
older days.
Yeah,
And their logic, right? The logic is that it's a really epic part of the song, so you should give the player a chance to listen to it without having to like think about clicking circles.
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Wait, that
Radioactive
logic
takes
is
aside.
cursed. At that point, just make it a music player.
Like you played the entire map up to this point, and then like when the really epic guitar happens, you just want to turn off your brain and listen to the song.
It's not how turning off your brain in the rhythm game works, though. Just straight up. But anyways.
Yeah.
So actually, because here's the thing. In general, this is also true of when like you undermap a part. The player has actually more time to pay attention, and therefore they have actually more time to notice the fact that they are not engaged. And this is actually tends to create a disruptive experience, especially if you are on the mechanically engaged side.
This is
So,
also
if
why
you have-
round sliders at the very end of a map suck, because you lose focus and then all of a sudden you slider break for no goddamn reason. Anyway.
Well, yeah. There's that's also a factor.
That sounds like a little bit of a cry for help, Nafi.
I don't know. Attention management in a map is kind of important.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Obviously, this is why you should storyboard the slow parts.
Actually true.
Like that one Meltdown map.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Very
if
cool.
anybody doesn't know which Meltdown map he's referring to, I will generously pull it up. I will just need a minute while we talk about something else.
Okay.
Nafi was not going to let the opportunity to rip it go to waste.
Because I have no clue what that Meltdown map is, and I didn't want to say anything.
Well, it's by the one guy, the one mapper whose name starts with an E and has a lot of other letters that are.
It's
like
a peak internet
spaghetti.
username. I think we've lost touch with that since renames became so free. You're not stuck with your name that you chose 10 years ago. What do you mean?
Yeah. So anyway, a bunch of letter spam.
Yeah.
Nothing like Okorin or something that you can pronounce.
Or like iWaifu.
No!
No.
Oh no!
No.
Are we striking a chord
No.
here? Like,
No!
hold on. Let me find this iWaifu mapper.
No!
How about Kami no Kotoba?
Wait, is that even findable? Wafer, did you rank anything under that name?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
ranked a
ranked it.
map with this. I just searched it. It's like some anime song too. Hold on.
Yeah, Nafi, you nominated it.
I did?
Yeah,
you
you
nominated
did.
like
You and-
one of my first two.
It was you and Eri. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I was talking about the Kami no Kotoba one.
Oh, did you do that?
No,
There is one map that's ranked under it that I found. It's a coffin.
Yeah, I helped rank your
I
second
think
map.
that is the
Wafer.
only one.
iWaifu 2019. Play my new maps, they are way better, thanks. True.
I probably put that in there in like 2020.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me look up when rightfully was.
2021. That's when it
Okay.
got ranked. I remember.
Yeah, but you had it mapped. That was a thing in 2020. Pretty sure.
Yeah, because that's when I
Yeah.
got executed from the BNG.
Oh.
Did you put this in the description when you had rightfully just mapped? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, probably.
You're
see.
crack. You're on crack, dude. Or you were on crack. Maybe you're clean now. No, you're not. out. Like you just moved to Staria Core.
No, I stopped. I'm better. I'm a better.
Now he's better. Okay. So you admit that you were on crack. You went to rehab, and now you're clean. Like, is that what?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
clean from
Alright.
crack. He's clean from crack. I don't know about saying he's clean.
I mean,
Okay.
Avatar tells a story for sure. Anyways,
Wafer's definitely on some shit, man.
yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll move on to talking about further drama, right? I guess there's been some drama with Attendant recently that somebody can fill me in on.
Wait, you added it to
Ooh.
the doc and you didn't even know?
No, I didn't really.
Oh my God.
We talked
No.
about this in the pre-show. We were gonna.
No,
talk
I mean, you
about
can't
it
be
on the
asking. You
show.
can't be saying stuff like that. There's too many damn docs. There's like a doc every 2 weeks. Like,
Okay.
Well, okay. I saw a little bit of the drama on Twitter, right? But that's about all I can think of.
I have to actually open the game now to show
Oh,
it on
no.
screen, and it's probably gonna be really loud. So I'm sorry beforehand, guys. It's gonna open up, and it's gonna be like, "Welcome to us." Oh, good. I already have it. I already had it basically muted. We're safe.
Hooray!
Hooray!
So does anyone here actually know about it more than I do?
I literally know nothing.
Oh.
I know who Attendant is. I know what Attendant is known for, mapping wise, and that's about it. That's my background.
Oh,
Mhm.
great.
Okay,
Sounds like Nafi's gonna fill us in.
I'm like halfway looped in if Nafi doesn't know anything either.
Well, okay, guys. So Nafi's
Nafi's preparing herself.
I mean, it's very simple. So, like 2 months ago, Bang Bang gets vetoed and then ranked, and that's also by Rita Summers. He's just pushing the envelope in every genre now. So this map comes along, and it's a pretty chill ambient song, I'm gonna skip because this is boring. But then, the map comes in, and it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard, which is fair. This part is pretty hard, but it still has some good stuff going for it. But
Can you link this over Discord? Just so I
Yeah.
can see what you're talking about.
If stream quality suffers for this, I'm sorry, guys.
I meant literally just link the map, but this also
Oh.
works.
Oh, here, I'll link
Yes,
the
so
map instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Okay, search link.
to be very honest with you, my personal opinion
That's
is
a lot of text in the description.
this isn't the song you would listen to, and you would think, oh yeah, this is going to be the hardest map in the game. This is just simply not. It just simply isn't. Listen to it without effects on. Like, it's pretty moody, I guess.
I don't know. This is
It's edgy.
consistent with what I understand of Attendant, where he just maps random hard bullshit on songs. Like, so I'm not understanding why there's drama yet.
So,
Well.
he has 1/8 spaced streams that last for like 30 seconds with very few breaks in between them. It's just a death stream. A 1/8 death stream. And the bends don't even fit to the music, so it's just like, okay, it's literally just a 1/8 death stream. But like I said, the effects are off, so you can hear what he's mapping to. But, this was the first upheld veto since vetoes were changed, so that's interesting.
Lame.
So already get mediated?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like
Oh, wow.
12 days.
Yeah, because we were trying to get to that participation rate, But then Rita starts schizo posting. He's like, they didn't post the results until it got to 70%, so that it would be upheld. And I'm like, nah, man, we just needed more people to vote in general. If we didn't have enough people, we would say it was unfair because nobody voted.
So that's why we have a copy pasta worthy description for this map now.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All right. So, yeah, keep going.
It did not get
Oh.
vetoed because of an off-screen note. That would have just been a simple DQ, and then it would have been back and qualified the very next day. As funny
that
as
pentagram thing is giving very Zexar vibes.
Evil Zexar.
Look. I'm just saying, this is not the map to do this shit on. Like, if you're gonna make it something like this, map something like Zeroa, like,
yeah, and plus
at
nobody's
least
really
that song.
passed it yet, so gotten a good
Yeah.
score.
Because
Does it really matter?
A
what?
bit, like it's
Like what he mapped this on? I don't know.
Yes, it does. I mean, like, if the song should justify the objects placed on it, right? Like, just like fundamentally, it. Because okay, there are even if you're going to quote unquote key sound as it's called in like other charting communities, you have to do it subtly to the point where it doesn't overpower what you're actually mapping to, and or in a way that's like engaging. And this is not that. So it breaks both of those rules. It's just like song is not intense enough to warrant all this tapping strain, and it's not really even like adding to the experience. It's just essentially
not
putting
hype.
stream practice on an unfitting song.
Yeah. And
I'm-
what makes it worse is how Attendant usually acts on the threads, and it's just like, oh, I got a headache. And then after it was upheld, Log Off Now Attendant stream went over this map in stream and posted a VOD. So now everybody's on the comments about it, saying that it's terrible, and I'm just like, oh, I got a headache.
I'm okay.
How is the not evil this time?
We didn't do it.
This is a very fork found in kitchen opinion from me, but I think whatever you feel from the music and interpret it as justifies, how you map it as. And if he gets this level of intensity from it, yeah, fuck it, let him do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like that's fair. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that the rest of us have to not like ignore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
we're-
that's kind of it. It's
the
with
BMs who vetoed it are well within their rights if they don't believe it.
Oh, absolutely,
appropriate.
absolutely.
yeah. So your individual expression of like your interpretation of something is one thing, but ranked is by definition something that meets a standard of social approval,
Sure.
and this kind of goes against most people's standards of it. So this used to be referred to as intersubjectivity until nobody actually used that term in the code of conduct or whatever. So now I'm pretty sure that's gone. But it's the same idea of like this is like, does this match everyone else's shared shared stances of what could be ranked? And that's kind of what vetoes are there to enforce. This is kind of not it. So
No, I mean, I totally understand people are well within their reasons to veto, and I can see why it wouldn't be popular. But I also do think it's kind of lame to veto it, personally. As someone that's done a lot of similar work in the same territory, I would be really upset, too, if people didn't agree with my interpretation of something. And I'm pretty over the top with things too. But totally understand the veto. It is kind of lame. But
yeah,
Yeah.
rejection of like your own viewpoint hurts. But like in this case, I in general, like I think that the problem is if we let like the most crude viewpoints through, then other people kind of think, oh, it's like, okay, I can get away with this, right? It's so in general, like in terms of stuff that's gotten vetoed, like I remember Fuju in particular was like leading the charge of vetoing like, some of the space stream formats in the past couple of years, and so this is essentially being stopped for kind of the same reason, where it's just like there's not really like there is interpretation here, like you can see it with the stream bends. You can see it with the spacing changes. Like, there's clearly something there, but it's like it kind of uses so many mechanics that it alienates so many people from even being able to tell what this is. So, for the overwhelming majority of people looking at this map, they're only going to see, oh my god, this is the death stream. They're not going to see the interpretation, and it's just like. So the mapper has one view of it and how it is, and it's being perceived as something completely different because of how inaccessible it is. So that's kind of the issue here. It's just like, So then it's like, all right, are we validating the mapper's interpretation here, or do we want to, do we want people to be able to understand the mapper's interpretation? What's the goal here?
Yeah,
like,
opposites of the same coin.
Yeah, when you get to the point where you're making maps that are harder than maps that don't even have like a B rank, it's like it's not even in the range of people like actively being able to improve on it and like do hype stuff with yet. If they can even get that good, although they
Has
might.
that ever stopped hard maps before?
Yeah.
Like
thousands
Bang
of
Bang
tips.
doesn't have like a single S rank, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, and that map is pretty much the same thing, just with jumps instead of streams.
Yeah, and that was also controversial.
Yeah, that is true.
But like, I think players are kind of burned on the stream meta right now, which is why
I
they
think that the big
dislike
thing
this
was like
more.
Bang Bang. The rhythm was supported by the song in Bang Bang.
Yeah, and
It
it's
was
supported in
intense.
If I remember
Searchlights.
right.
It maps the hi-hats.
Yeah, but then we're going back to like, I guess,
Yeah, it's
Genru Kaiko.
Like, basically, it misses the mark on vibe for a lot of people, even if it technically fits the sound. So that's really what it is. It's like people look at it, it's just like, yes, technically it does, but also this is missing the vibe. And you have enough of those people, and that's kind of where the whole discrepancy comes from.
yeah.
Alrighty. Well, is that basically it with the drama? I thought there was more to it, but
I mean, most of it
No.
got deleted, so.
Yeah, he's not been handling it well, unfortunately.
Oh, wait, what happened to him?
I think he's just had a negative reaction publicly.
Oh.
I remember seeing him get into some arguments with various staff members.
Mhm.
Also, I saw people were accusing me of nominating the map in the comments, which was really funny.
It's hilarious.
Bring them that direction.
Yeah, it looks like he went on a map deletion spree too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I'm sorry to see this, but also like, it's just like it is a little like. This thing is like, this is one of those things of like, it's really hard to tell like how much the mapper is acting in bad faith versus not, because and it gets harder and it gets really muddy when you do something that, you know, goes so far against the grain of what people are typically receptive of. And so this has definitely happened with like creators in the past. Like I think we mentioned Undecapulate earlier. Like definitely has happened with Undecapulate, like and Apple, aka Bor, like like those, like it's happened in the past. You've had people that they had such wild and varying perspectives that were just outright rejected by the entire community. But the difference, at least to me, the context difference to me on those is that one was based off of like essentially artistic standards that were derived from other things other than Osu being applied, and this is kind of one where it's like it's a matter of the interpretation of the purpose of mechanics in Osu. So this latter one, like this Searchlights thing, is a little more cut and dry for a lot more people because it relates to, it's not worrying about the context people are bringing in from other things they've seen. It's like Osu to Osu, if that makes sense.
Sure. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just like it's just in general, it's like I think that Osu like developing Osu standards within Osu, like I think that is probably better than trying to justify that certain things should not be allowed just because other places do not do it. So again, it's just like it's the whole thing with I mentioned this earlier with like key soundings, aka what most people in Osu would refer to as overmapping, or more eloquently put, additive rhythm, like things like that, where they are a lot less acceptable in Osu standard than they are in other rhythm games. And it's just one of those things of like that standard is not shaping what is allowed in Osu, right? So
yeah, but that's kind of lame. Like people
There's
have
a time and place for everything, I think.
This is true. But even like if this got ranked, I don't see what harm it would cause. People have made the argument of, oh, this map is going to set a bad precedent, or it's going to have others acting in bad faith, and that's never been the case. Every time that's been an argument, I've never seen anything negative come out of it. People will still make their farm maps and their vanilla maps and whatnot, because no one wants to go out of their way to do some shit that they don't like. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is also true of like individual maps don't really shape the types of maps we see in the rank section. It's just that, but it does. I'd say an individual maps getting ranked does reflect on like who is active in the ranking system.
Sure.
And what ends up happening is some of those individual maps can spawn individuals to later try to do things in the community. In the case of like when, for example, when Undead Capulet, Haley, etc. were ranking the maps kind of in 2018, actually, I'd say that was one of the main like provoking factors for the growth of Avalon 3 years later, because this is something that pissed off Raikkonen and essentially led him to start investing in essentially a counter movement to that, right? So it's the cause and effect sort of things. And the thing is, you never really can tell what's actually happening until you see look years back and it's like, holy shit, this happened, and this was because this person got passionate because they saw this sort of thing get ranked and they didn't like it, right? So you just never know.
Sure, that's a really good point. I've never thought about Avalon as an inverse to the quote-unquote movement mapping thing, but that makes a lot of sense.
I can also relate because I got into the BNG and started pushing stuff started supporting stuff like Undead Capulet's maps because of living in this hyper-restricted 2016-2017 era of mapping where all the stuff that I wanted to see ranked was getting blocked because people had oppressive standards at the top, right? So,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding is that a big, a factor in Raikkosen's desire to create Avalon in the first place was because UC and other quote-unquote movement mappers like Uber Zolik are involved in official mentorship.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those kinds of things are definitely there, and there's that backlash. Like we even saw, a lot of people would even argue that the backlash from 2019 farm, like PP farm, really caused us to go deep on the other end, where now quote unquote everything is like avant-garde and artistic and, and stuff like that, which I don't really believe is true, but there was certainly a bit of a backlash to the generic PP farm.
Yeah.
And Brogic and stuff.
There's again kernels of truth. The kernels of truth is the simple generic maps are more complicated than they used to be because mappers are using more 1/4 sliders. Like kick sliders are much more commonplace in even the most generic maps than they used to be. Same thing with extended sliders, and also a lot more. There's just a lot more triple to single based finger control. So you have a lot of finger control being used in places where previously older maps would literally just map 1/2 sliders over all of this stuff. And now it's because people are mapping more of the sounds, you have more finger control getting introduced in places where mappers don't really see it. And then you have, of course, the holding from those from the more sliders. And that gives the appearance of your standard anime maps being more complex than they used to be. So
yeah, that's real. That makes sense.
Though. Yeah. It wasn't really backlash.
It's crazy that they're mapping the song.
Well,
what a theory.
It's they're mapping the sounds. They're not, to a lot of people, they're not hitting the vibe as well, is what it is. And it's just again, it's vibe is determined by whoever is seeing the map, right? So it goes whatever way the times are saying. So.
Heck yeah. But anyways, I think that we have. Do you have more to say on that?
Oh no, I was gonna say while you guys segue, if you don't mind giving me 1 minute to get more water, because my throat hurts.
Okay.
Absolutely no.
Okay. Yeah.
It's okay. I can talk more about this.
Yeah,
I can talk about this all day. It's like
Okay.
to give an example of like when I thought mapping more sounds was beneficial. Like in 2017, I don't think people were simplifying 3/4 all the time. They were simplifying 3/4 and 1/3. And
this
then
is still
1/6.
a problem
Like
where people think it's like illegal because it's like, oh, it's on a blue tick, so it's 1/4, so you can't map it in a hard or a normal, right? Right? Oh.
yeah. So I think the counter to that of like let's map let's map the sounds that are in the song helped a lot more with people being less afraid to use 3/4, less afraid to use 1/3 actively, like all these things. 1/6 started to get used a bit better, for a bit too much, and then people realized, okay, hey, this is actually speed gating, so we have to tone it down a little, but we can still have it. And I think that was fine. I think though when a lot of 1/4 sliders and like extended sliders started getting introduced for aesthetic purposes, that started to muddy things a lot more. And I think that this is when it started to really take away from like the whole freeform vibe of these songs of yeah, it's there, but now you're destroying the representation of the whole section. So
Yeah. I think that there's also a factor of people misunderstanding the whole polarity thing that Charles 445 talked about.
yeah,
That
Polarity.
was also a big one.
yeah.
I can't believe I came back to polarity. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Happy was saying that like people were doing, you know, I don't remember exactly what he was saying, so I'm not gonna
Simplifying
but-
3/4, 1/3, and
yeah,
everything in
yeah,
between.
exactly. Like that same like blue ticks were not supposed to be used and those kinds of things. And I was like, a big part of that I think is people taking the polarity thing, misunderstanding it, and then going to the furthest extreme with it. Like basically saying that like if it's not red or white tick, it's uncomfortable or not okay or whatever, right? Which isn't what
Yep.
Charles is saying, but
Charles killed mapping.
You can't. I don't know. It's like sometimes you cannot when the person is not exactly saying the message. You can't really say that they are at fault for people.
No, no.
That's how I see it. But it's like, I mean, yeah.
Well, anyway, we have Wafer here with us, obviously.
Hi.
So, Wafer, can you talk to us about your background? Like, what even got you into OSU in the first place?
Counter-Strike. I wanted to aim better in Counter-Strike. And there was some YouTuber I watched, and he was like, top 5 ways to get better aim. And then OSU was on there. And I was also in my anime arc. So I saw that there was anime songs. I waifu. And I saw that.
What's your favorite anime?
Oh god. You can't put me on the spot like that.
Yes, we
Oh
can.
God, you can't even.
Um,
yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure the rest of us could just listen.
I have not watched anime in so long.
So
My favorite manga is Oyasumi Pun Pun, if that answers anything.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never finished that manga. It made me too depressed.
It is so gut wrenching.
Yeah.
In terms of anime, I guess Code Geass or maybe
Oh, Code Geass 5.
Monster. Monster is also really good.
Those are pretty good.
Don't reread it. It won't be good for you. I won't.
Yeah, don't.
Code Geass is fire. I agree with that. Very
Um,
cool. Anyway,
yeah, no, it's
sorry, I
good.
distracted you.
No, you're good. In terms of mapping, I wanted to make farm maps. Like I just started hitting like insane level maps, and I played a ton of jump maps. This was like mid 2017, I want to say. So like around the time that Sotarks and Kensho and Doormat and whatnot were starting to rise up in popularity. So I'd make a bunch of jump maps. that transitioned into caring about mapping after having a few too many mental breakdowns over my maps sucking. And here we are.
Damn. That's so real.
All right, look. Okay. I kind of want to prod into that, but I'm more interested personally as someone else that was also previously excommunicated from the PNG. How did that kind of shape your whole view on what the rest of OSU would look like?
Oh, first of all, I had no clue you were excommunicated from the BNG.
Oh, now we're good. All right,
So
history time.
Yeah, let's circle out on that first.
Okay. So I don't want to go into too much depth on this because I think I did it so at the last interview, and this is your episode, not mine. So, but basically, before they started like evaluating, like doing BN evaluations for like current BNs, they basically applied standards that were not there before and used them as justification to kick people that they didn't think should be there. So some of them like basically, yeah, they just used it as an excuse to kick people. So I was one of the people that was kicked because they didn't like that I was nominating on Capulet maps. So yeah, I was kicked for that.
Well,
under the pretext of not meeting those standards.
Sure. Well, that wasn't my experience. For anyone who doesn't know, I was kicked for 2 reasons. First, I was yellowing maps. There was like a solid 10 maps I nominated without ever opening it. So there were some big DQs and unranks. I think that had to happen. And secondly was behavior. If you know anything about me from early 2020, I did not take anything seriously. And a big byproduct of that was Rightfully, where I had anime in the tags like 40 times. And there's also a hidden Kirito in the background.
I didn't know about the Kirito.
Can you pull it up on stream while I...
Let me...
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
Was Nafi was Nafi a BN or an NAT at this point? I don't remember. There was a period where Nafi was left at NAT.
Yes, I think Nafi was NAT around the time I originally got kicked. But yeah, I got kicked for behavior.
Yes, I was one of the people that decided on the 1,000 years sentence.
Gasp. Gasp.
I got kicked for behavior. I waited 3 months, but my social media presence was still not great. I would constantly get into shit with other people, just for lulz. And then I applied again, got denied, and then this is where the black pill started to happen. I worked with Raikkonen and Avali. I don't know if that guy still exists.
Keep going. Go on.
Oh god.
Fucking... Okay, keep going.
Okay, I worked with the Raikkonen and Volley. Oh, Nafi, the Kirito's in the right corner.
God!
Yeah.
Computer enhance!
But I worked with Raikkonen and Volley to create a expose document. I basically added every net to a group chat.
Holy shit, there is a Kirito there. Wow.
I added every net to a group chat, and I was arguing about why my rejection was unfair. And after doing that, and writing up a big expose document and posting it, and leaking a bunch of personal details from everyone, right? Because I didn't ask anyone, hey, can I take this conversation and post it? I got permabanned for 1,001 years. Thankfully, that decision was reverted 2 years ago. Around now, 2 years ago, yeah.
All right.
So I'm grateful to be given a second chance. I don't know if you guys are still permabanning people. I say you guys, but there's only one net here. I don't know if the NAT is still permabanning people. They should be.
Oh, okay.
But
Wafer's got some people in mind.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of glad I got permabanned for not only OSU purposes, but also for personal growth. In terms of OSU, I was able to focus on, just mapping, which I think led to a period of mapping self-discovery. And then in terms of personal growth, I was able to realize how much of to put it bluntly, how much of a dickhead I was. Like I probably could have ended up as the next Rikuzen if I kept going down that path. So I'm honestly very glad I got permabanned.
Okay, I will on that thing. I will literally say and White can attest to this. I thought you were a twat for a while, but frankly, you're just a teenager. So don't worry about it, dude. Literally, 16. Just don't worry about it.
I was 16 and had terrible coping mechanisms.
yeah. Don't worry about it. But I am glad that you grew up. That's good.
Was I 16? How old am I? 2020. Yeah, 16 or 17.
How
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. But anyway, so Rikuzen and Volley, Team Dissy members, yeah. That's crazy. That's actually
that was horrible.
Yeah, no, I still remember Volley very well because he was Irreversible's lapdog, and that was his entire personality.
Yes.
So.
Oh my god.
Did you actually ever meet Irreversible?
No, I hated that guy.
But you were near his spiritual successor. And
I was only there with
advocate.
Volley because Rikuzen was friends with Volley. So
they were the ones those guys all teamed up along with M4X. They all teamed up to make the map known as Ugly, which was basically the fuck Undead Capulet map. So
that was toxic as hell.
It was toxic, yeah. Well, it got Erie kicked from the NAT, so it was a great. And then Laska got put in place, so it was a greater good for the community, straight up. But anyways,
oh my god.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, the things that happen when you grow up, crazy.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah.
All right. I'm curious. Sorry, I don't want to hog the air. What did you have something
What? No, you go ahead.
Okay, all right. Tell me about Booj.
Oh my god, are you in there?
I was.
Okay. It's pronounced Booj, first of all, not Boog. Did you say Boog? I
said Booj.
He said Booj.
I know how it's pronounced. I was there, man.
Sorry, my memories.
I was a bougie goer,
So Booj is my second server. It is the spiritual successor to my first server, which I made when I first got BN. And it's not public. The people that are in there, most of them, anyways, the original group of people, I think it was 30 or 40. Those are my greatest friends in this game, and I am so glad that I met them and that I made a space that we could share without the intrusion of others. There's been tons of ups and downs in there, and the server has kind of died off now. But I'm forever grateful that I was able to share space with friends in there. I think we hosted we hosted a playing tournament at one point. It was closed, but organizing and dealing with the tournament stuff was... I don't think I organized anything, but dealing with the tournament stuff was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had 3 different Minecraft servers, and I learned basic web dev from one of them. So there was a lot of, skills that came out of that as well. Yeah, Boosh TV 2. Thank you, OLC.
Hell yeah. I bring it up because I find that so just in general there is since Discord came kind of a thing, there's usually at least a couple Discords that a lot of the more prominent, active, influential, whatever you want to call them, mappers tend to congregate around.
Mm-hmm.
In my heyday, it was Mir IRL. So Mir had a server, and it's if you were in that server, you were likely also driving a lot of the stuff going on in the community.
Yep.
And so Booj kind of became that in the past couple of years. This is also like in conjunction with things like the mentorship servers. So like Avalon, of course, like that ended up being a site of place. Sotarks, I'm sure, has like a server where he's got his own ecosystem running stuff out of, like things like that. And so in particular, like Booj was cool because, like, first of all, that's where OMDB came from.
Yes.
That's where like various of the mapping Discord bots that you might see came from. I'm pretty sure Hifumin came from there, but even before it was like in some other form. Like, I don't know. There was like all these bots came from
maybe.
somewhere. So
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if Hifumin came from there. Maybe conceptually.
yeah, because you guys had like Nokaro or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure that someone got influenced by that. They heard of that, and I'm like, okay, it's time for like Osu trading cards and shit. So
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because there's the gambling, the map gambling in there. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, Booj's impact was kind of big for how not well known a lot of the members were. Like aside from me, I don't think anyone in there that was active was like a big name, you know, like Lasse or Mordred or Sotarks, or whoever was active around those years.
And yet you managed to get people like Charles and Undead Capulet to join.
God, you're
people
so
like
right.
People like me. Like, it ended up being like a lot bigger than that. Because the thing is, it's like sometimes it doesn't matter necessarily who's actually running the server. It's who you can bring in. And it's like you have people like Ralkinson, for example, big guy. Big fan of Ralkinson, by the way. Very, very interesting perspective on Osu in general. You have people like him, like they're spreading the good word of places like Booj, and then it's like so people get interested. Like the old heads get interested and they hop in because this is again like one of the most like when you're involved in the community, it's one of the most gratifying things to join communities like this where you can actually like speak, you can actually talk about mapping, and actually like form discussions about the topics without like turning it into a pissing contest, which is kind of good. So.
No, yeah, absolutely. Shout out Ralkinson. I just met up with him in Atlanta a few weeks ago. I love him.
Yeah.
No, he's I don't think Booj would be any close to where it was without him. Like he's so charismatic and
and
he kept a lot of the conversations in check. And shout out Olsey as well. Like those Ralkinson and Olsey were the forefronts of all the mapping related stuff in there.
I was about to say OLC. OLC, I'd say a lot of his kind of influence from my perspective was like, he kind of like set like some really high bars for mapping standards in general. And song choice. Like he was bringing some like song choice that Osu was kind of missing. Like Booj is kind of interesting in that like it was kind of like an anti-Osu server in terms of music, especially. Mapping style, like it's like I think it kind of aligned a lot with the tone of stuff, but it was offset by again the diversity of people that coming server. So it was just it's good. Like, yeah. And can't forget Moonpoint. Again, like I mentioned the birth of OMDB, but like I'm pretty sure like Moonpoint was making a lot of the stuff because of the Booj.
Yes, there too. Yes, it started in Booj, and Booj got the early access and whatnot. No, I'm really proud of that community, and even though it's died off recently, I'm really glad that existed.
Good stuff.
The guy who made Nokaros in the Twitch chat right now. Say hello, Bobby, or say hello to Bobby.
Hello,
Bobby. If I could do anything, if I could change anything, I wish I had a more public-facing side of Booj. That's not to say I want it to be public, but I wish we were able to do more public-facing things. But we're sort of beyond that point now. Like tournaments and streams or something would have been cool. But yeah, I'm happy.
Because you got OMDB is kind of your vehicle for that. Like that is your public facing thing. It's just because like that's Booj all the way to its core. Even if like to me it's like, all right. Even if to me like the wider adoption of it has kind of revealed it revealed some of the less savory aspects of just like discussing mapping in public. Now, I mean, it's still Booj at its core, like, so it starts Booj and then it goes out, right? Like, so, it's like the things of the map tags, like a lot of these ideas, things that get discussed and formed in these discussions in that server end up trickling out. And now, especially like with Moonpoint as NAT, like this does influence the greater game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do have a public facing component. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of there.
Good point. Good point.
You got friends in high places.
I do, and I'm very grateful for all my friends that I made on here. I would be like an eighth of the person I am today without them. I'll touch back on that in a later segment.
Aww.
So in general, like how would you say that your perspective on maps has changed over your years?
It has been a decline in caring. I think people can, as long as they can justify their enjoyment of their map, then I think they should be happy with it and just let it fly. There was a period where I really cared about farm maps and boring vanilla maps, and it sort of came back when what was it? There was a change recently. When NAT were no longer enforcing subjective quality standards, it sort of came back momentarily. But yeah, in general, it's been a decline in caring. Like mapping is an art. I talked to Sotarks about this. He agrees. Everyone, all the players are like, "Oh, mapping is not an art. It's a video game." Whatever. No, it's an art.
It is an art.
And I think if people are enjoying their art, that's more than enough for me.
So, I want to expand on that before you go in a little more.
Yeah.
Like, on the whole, like, mapping is art thing. So, like, Osu's... Okay, look. I've been getting into playing, like, VSRGs lately.
Ooh.
And charts and maps are different. They're not the same.
Yeah.
A map is a chart, but a chart is not a map. In particular, because so it's like, to say that a map is just the sum of its gameplay elements is a rejection of like what many people that have actually invested countless hours into making content for this game actually see it as.
Yeah.
And players don't get that they're not the same thing. So go on. That's my take.
You can always see the OS influence bleeding out when you go onto random rhythm game communities, and there's a relatively like 60-30 split these days on some of the more casual ones between whether they're like, oh yeah, this chart or this map. It's like, that's crazy. I'm like, oh my god, because the word map didn't really exist in that same capacity 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, and there is a lot of resentment around that too.
Yeah.
Those like the hardcore like rhythm game players, especially like the arcade guys, they hate those two people. Like, holy crap, they hate us. Like, woof. Go on. That's all I want to say.
That was mapping. No, you're good. Playing, I think I've always had the same mindset for playing, which is whatever's fun. Usually it's whatever I'm good at, so jump maps. Yeah, I think that's it. I just care less about whatever people do. There's no reason to stress yourself over other people's creations. Now, if they're looking out feedback and whatnot right now, that's when you have modding and whatnot. But yeah.
You have modding. That's crazy. And obviously you learned from Now Tomorrow how to mod. Did you learn mapping from anyone in particular? Like how did you go from zero knowledge to what you are now?
Oh gosh, how did I? I don't think I had an official mentor. The closest I had to a mentor was Annabelle. When I came back to this game in 2019, I saw their name on a map, and I asked them for a GD. And obviously they said no, because my map was 20 seconds and all circles. But they were very influential in my early stages. I don't think I would have ever kept mapping if it wasn't for their help. Outside of that, the biggest influence the biggest influence on my learning for mapping is friends. The people you hang out with and that you spend time with will influence every aspect of your life. And that applies for mapping too. And having a reliable source of feedback is so important. I think outside of that, I would have kept making jump maps if I didn't have a pseudo breakdown because I thought my maps were shit. But yeah.
So were your map shit? That's
Yes.
a real question. Okay. just checking.
Let's go look at some iWaifu maps, and you can answer that question yourself.
I mean, look, frankly, from what we established earlier, like if it's the self perspective that matters, if the things are shit or not, then it needs to come from your mouth, not mine.
Yeah, no, okay, real. Yeah, they were shit.
All right, we're there.
Oh god. And so would you say that like every map that you create is something that you like, or
No.
okay? Oh, okay.
I don't like a majority of my maps. I think if you like things in the moment, that's a decent sign that you should finish it, or at least continue working on it. But in hindsight, I don't really like any of my maps. There's maybe like 2 or 3. But I think each one was worth it, just for the perspective and what I learned from them.
What's your favorite map that you've made?
Probably Bodies, but also that's the most important song that I've mapped to me.
But you did it justice, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing, right?
I mean, like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you could say it's the song carries the map, but it's like, did you do the song justice? And that really will tell you. It's like,
Yeah.
you made the right map.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with the outcome of that map.
You said Bodies? Is this one of your grave maps?
No, it's ranked. BODYS. Oh, see, so right.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you guys played Geometry Dash. I never played Geometry Dash. But there's a map called XO. And it was super influential with its gameplay. And I watched that level like on repeat for like a whole week before mapping Bodies. And unironically, I think that led to me making that map.
Interesting. And in what ways did Geometry Dash influence your mapping there?
I don't even know if I can explain it. It's just like a vibe sort of thing. Like the gameplay was so good.
I like the top comment of the most recent comment of this. It's like, Wafer is so based for being an Undertale, Deltarune, Omori, and Celeste player. Can we marry each other?
You can add one shot to that list too.
Yeah, I was like, I figured one shot. Like, I mean, this is like, yeah. The only thing I'm missing from this list is Omori. I haven't played it. I have it. I just haven't played it yet. So
it's interesting. It's interesting. It's a good story. It's kind of drawn out gameplay wise. You can also add Yume Nikki to that list. Yume Nikki is so good.
Did not play that one.
Classic.
Okay.
I remember playing it in
So
4th
good.
grade and trying to explain it to my cousin, and she was just like, "What the fuck?" Where are
Finding
you
it in
getting
4th
these
grade must be
games?
life altering.
Yeah. Playing it in 7th or 12th or 20th grade is also life altering. Just saying.
Yeah, no. I'll circle back to that on a later point as well because I don't want to get too off topic. But yes, very good. And Nafi also sent a link to EXO in the chat. No. It's like the next point, I think. The next 2 points. So I'll circle back.
Go ahead, talk about it.
No. I don't want to get off script.
No.
You're the script,
guideline.
brother.
Oh,
You can do whatever you want.
Oh, beautiful.
Dude, go.
Okay. I have, abandoned mapping for other creative endeavors, most notably production. Shout out to the one song I finished this year.
Nice.
Let's
and
go.
then I've been working on other creative endeavors, like collages. Um, and I
Like
think Yume Nikki has influenced.
physical.
No,
physical
they're
collages?
digital, but I need to get a
Okay.
scanner and do whatever.
Gotcha.
But I think Yume Nikki has been a big influence on my collage work, and maybe subconsciously my music work too. But yeah, good game.
That's so cool.
And how has you know, I know you've been working on your music production for a little while, right? Like probably a year at this point.
Yeah, we're I think it is the 1 year anniversary of On My Evil Rollsay arc made by Wafer 2 months after opening FL Studio for the first time.
Thick.
Figure out how
yeah,
to make
so
your own Utah yet?
no, I have not investigated. I need to.
Yeah. Please.
And how has that music production influenced you and your mapping and then all that?
There's a brief overlap where I was doing music and mapping. Okay, brief overlap, my ass. It was like 6 months. But in terms of mapping, I feel like I was better able to understand and improvise my own rhythms that supported the song. Like when you're making stuff, there's so much shit that goes behind it that you don't really pick up like on the initial listen of a song. And I'm not saying that you have to make music to understand music, but it helps you a lot. So yeah, after producing and making music for a little bit, it definitely seeped into my mapping and with my rhythm choices.
I wonder if Down has a similar experience, like especially because he's still actively doing kind of both.
I wonder.
Things to think about, because it's like there's plenty of people that have just like gone from like, oh, they got into Osu, they got really into music, and then they just like started composing, like and there's been some like crossback. So
Yeah. OLC is in the chat also, and he does both, or he did both. So I don't know how my experience holds up with others, but it was interesting.
I mean, like,
there was an influence.
you got like Nakagawa Cannon out there going out making the most iconic Freedom Dive map, and then they disappear, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm Rabbit House. Hey."
that's crazy to this day. Like that insane songs too. Holy crap! I'm pretty sure now he's like actually just getting into some of the arcade rhythm games too. Like,
yes.
like getting his songs
so.
in there. Oh.
I think so.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's
like it's got the same energy as like when I found out that like LKS was like this huge Billy influencer. Like
oh my god,
that's wild. Man.
Yes. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's just like sometimes you just Osu's just a stepping stone, right? Like
yeah. I wouldn't even call it a stepping stone. I think at least maybe I shouldn't project my personal experiences, but I think there's a lot of influence this game can have on your life.
Well, that's what I mean by stepping stone of like.
Oh,
so the thing is,
I've
always said it's like Osu is a place where you can kind of develop your skill sets, and it's kind of in a low risk environment for the most part. Like you can just get really good at a couple of things, and then expand that into something that has more influence in the world. So that's why I say stepping stone. It's just like whatever you do in Osu, if you take it, like if it doesn't have to stop there. It can actually just vault you into other areas of life that you didn't even think were possible. So
yeah, no, that's real. I totally misinterpreted stepping stone for a second.
Yep,
that makes sense.
It's not negative. It's literally just people are here for the time that they are here, and when they move on, that doesn't mean that their greatness is gone. That just means they've moved on to other frontiers.
Yeah, real. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to like use Osu and get experience with so many different things. Like if you want to go into management, for example, you can go into NAT or BN or those things, right? And there's tournament organization, there's mapping, there's playing. There's like lots of different avenues to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of people starting in content creation and Osu and then going to other things as well.
Absolutely. being BN has definitely helped me in the workplace.
For sure.
In what ways would you say?
um, Working with a large scale of people, and having to occasionally, quote unquote, direct things. There's a lot of organization that goes in with nominating maps properly.
Sure.
Um,
When you're not yellowing.
You're not
don't
yelling,
look
yeah.
at my
Not
mod
yelling.
activity. Yeah, no, all of those skills are super useful in the workplace as well. Like projects and working with other people. Yeah, because I want to mirror what Rolkinson said in chat as well. Because of how easy mapping is to learn, I was able to learn the more interesting parts of talking about art, which is also real. Mapping is a great low entry barrier skill art thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's so many resources for like learning it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like that's like in comparison to like 2016 and earlier kind of thing, like when the rest of you guys are starting, like nowadays there's so many resources for new
Oh, yeah.
mappers.
That's
Crazy.
still wild
Although,
to think about.
at the same time, all the good mappers are kind of quitting. So
No, they're all the good mappers are always quitting.
yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Like, just because even if they stop mapping, doesn't mean that they're unreachable.
That's very true as well.
And plus, like sometimes you don't really know how much influence someone has until they're not active anymore and people are taking more influence from them because they're like, I want more maps like what this guy made, but he's not mapping, so I gotta make it myself.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's true. How would you say that your mapping has influenced your music production? A lot of people talk about music production influencing your mapping, but does it go the other way around?
I don't actually know. My early music production was very chaotic, which mirrored my mapping, and my mapping mirrored my music. Daria chord, EDM, 1,000,000 layers and rhythms, whatever. I don't know if it has much of an effect now. Maybe outside of like basic music structure, um, and like basic drum rhythms that you sort of pick up from like hit sounding and whatnot. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think I've noticed it. But also, I finished an EP in like 2 months of learning FL Studio, so
Which
I
is
don't
so
know.
cool.
Thank you. It sucks, but it's okay.
It's yours. That's what matters. You made
This
the
is
thing.
true. This is true.
Would you recommend other people learn how to make music?
If that's something you're interested in, I think you should go for it. There's even more resources on music than there will ever be resources for mapping.
I believe it.
And the barrier to entry really isn't hard. There's like a 30-minute Andrew Huang video. And I was talking with someone yesterday because they felt, okay, I wasn't talking, I was observing. Shout out OLC because he carried. But there was someone who wanted to make music and was afraid of starting. But yeah, just send it. If that's something you're interested in, just send it. Like any other creative passion.
Very cool.
That's really. I'm touched.
Now, Wafer. So, in your
Yes.
experience with mapping, have you, in your music production, right? It's influenced your mapping. Has there been anything that you've learned or discovered from making music that you've noticed that mappers just in general fail to understand or fail to consider?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. Um, oh God. Um, um, I think a lot of people like to focus on one layer. Yeah, this question is annihilating me. Not because I wouldn't stop talking to Rolkinson, but because I have no clue how to answer it.
Okay.
Oh god. Like my mapping was so simple. I know that's kind of a crazy statement to make with how my maps look. But I would typically like focus on one layer, like vocals or some shit, right? And there's so many layers in music that I think focusing on one layer is kind of selling short the music. That's not the right word or the right phrase, but I
No, I
think the
get it,
point gets
yeah.
across. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that question is hard.
I mean, that's absolutely something that I've picked up from my time talking to Undead Capulet was, Undead Capulet kind of goes the opposite direction of what most people would do. Like most people focus on the vocals in any song.
Mhm.
And, one thing that a lot of people criticize Undead Capulet's maps for, but they don't realize is that Undead Capulet just pretty much ignores the vocals in their active rhythm, but they capture it in the subtleties of like their patterning, their
Right.
movement choices, those things. And people don't pay attention to those subtleties, and then they think that it's being ignored when it's really not.
Right.
And that was something that I found really interesting in my time talking to them was, hey, there are ways to. You should never really ignore just any layer, right? Like if there's a drum layer and it's conflicting with the vocal layer, right? You can do other things to capture both
Yeah.
than just rhythm.
So on that note, Wafer, I saw you had Day and Night favorited.
Yeah.
And Day and Night is actually an excellent example of this.
Yes.
Where
I
you'll
was gonna
notice
mention
how you'll notice a couple of sections where it starts off with kind of just bare drums, and you'll notice less sliders in that section compared to when that section repeats, and the vocals are in. So it's a lot of that type of stuff of you just kind of have to look at things in a bit more of a big picture way. You can even have the clicks in the same spots and then just vary density, and now you're still acknowledging that hey, something else is going on, right? You don't need to switch the wholesale and only focus one thing just because you can click one thing at a time.
Right. No, that map is so excellent, and being able to understand why that map was good, was like a big breakthrough moment for me.
Wait, what map? I missed it.
Day and Night.
Day and Night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
There's so like that's what I don't understand about like a lot of people is that they never like sure you can maybe not appreciate or not like certain maps
Mhm.
by these figures like Undead Capulet, right? But a lot of them never really take the time to understand why a lot of people do like them, like and try to learn from that, right? Like you can adapt a lot of the things that people like Undead Capulet do into other maps just to make maps better and better represent the song.
Yeah.
Um,
And even after you understand, um, if you still don't like it, just don't do it. Take what you learn, right? Take what you don't like and just don't do it. And now you have a better framework.
And sometimes people being on shitty setups is underrated. 'Cause, like, I know
Yeah.
sometimes people will be like, what are you following? And it's literally just like, okay, these guitars just do not come through on tinny little earbuds.
Yeah, my thing from that is like so I like there's melody, there's like there's a lot of backing instruments, like there is a lot of layers.
Yep.
But something for example of that I took from Undead Capulet was that whole idea of like okay, represent more things with just than what you're just focusing on, like click wise.
Yep.
But something I didn't like was Undead Capulet's focus on the like essentially putting the clickables on the territory instruments. Didn't like that. So it's like secondary, okay, that's a little different, but territory, a little too far for me. So that's just an example of how you can apply that.
Yeah, real. And I think copying maps and trying things you don't like and seeing why you don't like them, or maybe you do end up liking them, is also a great way to learn mapping. That's all I did in my early years of mapping. I would go and do a bunch of shit I didn't like. Like I hated Undead Capulet. I hated Cherry. But I would just make a ton of maps like that to figure out why I didn't like them. And it turns out there's things I like in them.
I was looking at your bodies map,
Yep.
and I looked at your almost parallel sliders. You definitely did that intentionally. But it's something, for example, that I noticed a lot in Cherry's maps, because it's
Yeah.
like you have like grid and then you have almost grid, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it creates this like it creates a certain type of effect, and sometimes you can do that intentionally and it benefits your interpretation, and sometimes it does not. That's what I'll say on that. Here, I like the way you did it, by the way, just so
Dope. Thank you.
clear. Yeah.
And that's like the thing is like a lot of the techniques that people will use are like there's not really any like necessarily bad techniques, right? It's just bad applications of it, and some songs just don't support it, or perhaps the way you've mapped the rest of the song doesn't support that one thing, right? So you have to know when and how to use those techniques to create the emotion or the representation that you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Sorry, I'm looking over the document as well.
Yeah. We basically come to
You
the
are
end
the
of it, though.
document.
Yeah, you are.
I am the document, but
You are
it is
the
nice
document.
to have something to follow. Yeah, I think we're basically near the end of this segment. Yeah. I guess I'll circle back then, because I did mention talking about my friends and whatnot, and I do want to talk about in hindsight the Osu's effect on me. Because I've been pretty vocal about how much I don't like Osu anymore. And while there is a portion of the community I don't hold in high regards, players. Sorry, that's not true. While there is a portion of the community I don't hold in high regards, because they don't take the time to try to learn things or figure out why they don't like something, rather than, I don't know, fucking bashing it for zero reason. I am so glad that I did the things I did on this game. Like, to touch into a bit more personal territory here, I don't think I would have ever found out my queer identity without Osu and being surrounded with people on this game that were, openly queer. And I always say that I wish I did something else instead of mapping. Like music. I wish I started music in 2019. And while that's true, I wouldn't have ever found the people that I'm friends with, or made the connections, or been the person that I am now. So I'm very grateful for everyone that I've met in this game. Good or bad interactions.
Hell yeah. Any specific names you want to shout out?
Yeah, in recent times, OLC, Moonpoint, Ralkinson, shout out my goats. Who else? I'm sorry, my memory has been really.
Oh no, everyone
I'm
else.
glad. I'm glad we got through those. We got through those guys at least once in the stream already too.
Yeah,
so this is like a callback of like, hey, that's good.
Let's pick some new names.
No, that's good. That just means they're important. I'm just like,
important.
damn, we got there.
Let's see. Shout out Cindy Fusic. She is Cindy Fusic. Sorry, I keep saying her name like she's Polish. She is so great, and I think she has lots of potential in this game, and content creation wise. She's doing great things. Yeah, I think recently that's it. Not that no one else matters to me, but those are people that I hold in really high regards. And I'm so thankful that I get the chance to talk to them.
That's awesome.
Life just works in funny ways like that sometimes, where sometimes things can just be a mixed bag, and you get like good things out of it, you get bad things out of it, but overall you change and grow from it.
Yeah. Oh, also, shout out Half Slashed and Nafi and White. I know we haven't talked Half Slash, but I appreciate everything you do, and I've seen your name out around a ton. And then Nafi, you met me super early on, and I'm really glad that you talked me down from doing a bunch of stupid things like mapping commissions. I don't know if you recall that at all, but that was certainly an era. And then White, I know we don't talk as frequently anymore, but I would still love to head up and you know, meet and hang out. Because you're really awesome.
Thanks.
Next time you come, I'm gonna take you flying someday.
I know. I'm so excited.
Whenever
Maybe
you
not
come on
next year
down.
either, because I have to take
Damn.
PTO for a wedding and a bachelor's trip, and then dude, whatever. I hate being old.
Damn. You hate being old.
Noted. I'll
Aren't
make
you
sure
like
to
22
invite you
or
to my
something?
wedding.
You're 21?
21 is old.
21 is
Woo!
old. Oh.
Damn, I'm pulling apart the seams, man.
Damn. You can become legal to drink and then you're old.
Here's the craziest thing. That's the oldest you've ever been.
This is the oldest I've ever been.
I mean, at this very moment, you are the oldest, you know, that you've ever been, yeah.
Did I forget anyone? Did I say Moonpoint?
Yeah,
I
like
did say
5
yeah.
times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
Oh, Nafi's keeping the moon point count, huh?
I'm not. I just made that up.
Yeah. No. I'm glad I spent the time on this game. Even though I wish I did something else as well. But no. Yeah. Yeah. IO.
What's your future plans?
Um.
He's like, I haven't got that far. I just woke up.
That's a great question. That answer varies depending when you ask me it. I hope I make it to tomorrow. I hope I wake up tomorrow. Those are my future plans.
Wafer.
Okay.
It's
Yes, Nafi.
always such a joy and so much fun to like talk to you and work with you on like literally anything, whether it would be like the stupid shit we've done too. So I think that we're whatever you do tomorrow, I think your wings will fly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's always great. I mean, I always like to just throw you into these like situations.
I'm noticing this is like the third time you've done this, and I have not been prepared at all. But
yeah, I mean that's just how you got to be spontaneous, and it makes it
Yeah.
more fun, right?
I was totally gonna say no, but
I was expecting you to, honestly.
I was gonna say no. If you asked me like a week earlier, I would have said no. But I've been having a lot of personal revelations. Yeah, and I'm glad I said yes. This was fun.
I'm glad. All right, I think that is everything we had to cover today, and I really
Yay!
appreciate Wafer for joining us, and of course, /Nafi for joining me. And yeah, I think that's
Yes.
about it, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
All right.
No
Ciao,
one's
ciao.
matching the
What
energy.
the hell? Nafi nor // said bye.
I'm just like sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, we gotta add a plug here, okay? And then we can say
Oh,
bye.
you're right.
Okay,
You
so
should have stopped me from doing that.
Yeah.
So also make sure to join the official Vocaloid Appreciation Team Discord server. If White has it set up correctly, it's in our Twitch bio too. Great thank you to Wafer for coming today, as White said. Really appreciate it. And I hope everybody tuning in today also had a good time just getting to listen to us chat and kind of chatting with the chat too. So that's pretty cool. So hope y'all have a good one, everyone. And now it's y'all's turn.
Yeah, you guys say goodbye in the chat.
Oh my god. Alright, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.